Hey guys, so continuing where we just left off, starting to talk about accidentals, sharps and flats. Before we go there, I just wrote in all of these terrible handwriting note names onto our piano. It kind of stinks because they don't go away and I need them for later, so I'm not going to erase them. But I just want to point out these are your note names on the piano. You don't really have to memorize them, but for this lesson, it helps to know where they are. Something to memorize is the most common one to find is C. If you find the two black keys and then go one to the left, I don't know which way I'm pointing. I think my picture is mirrored, but one to the left of those two black keys, and that's your C. When you're learning piano, that's the first note that they teach you. They teach you middle C. If you're going to Merritt Island High School next year and you have Miss Davis, she says, I don't like that. She's silly about it. And she teaches you how to find her note, the Miss Davis note, D. She says, find the two black keys and the one in the middle. That's Miss Davis's note, and it's D. But whichever way you find it, that's there for reference. Okay, so ignoring that these notes are still in the picture, we have a flat over here and a sharp. We talked about half steps and whole steps earlier. The flat lowers a note by a half step, and the sharp raises a note by a half step. If you're having a hard time remembering flat versus sharp, sometimes I don't have a pencil, but I have a pen. Sometimes when you think about a pencil, if it's sharp, it's raised. If it's flat, it's lowered. Or, if you ever break off the tip of your pencil. You can also think if you had to sit on a flat, like it was sideways, it'd be like lower. And if you had to sit on a sharp, it'd probably hurt. So flat lowers the note by half step, sharp raises the note by half step. If you're typing, you can just use the pound symbol or hashtag or whatever you call it to the sharp, and then use the lowercase letter b to represent a flat. So looking at this black key right here, we could call that, if we're using sharps, we could call that C sharp because I've raised C by a half step. It could also be called D flat if approaching it from D, because I took D and I lowered it by a half step. Another example, E right here and F, they're right next to each other. So if I take F and I lower it, it would be F flat. Versus if I take E and sharp it, it would be E sharp. Notes that have different names, you could call them, are called enharmonics. So for example, back when we talked about this note here, it could be C sharp or D flat. Those are enharmonic spellings. Any note you could call two different things. So this could be G sharp or A flat. This could be B or C flat or A double sharp. We're not really getting into double sharps yet, but it exists. I'm going back where I was. And those are called enharmonic spellings when a note can have multiple names. Actually, we did just talk about briefly double sharp. I erased my spellings. Hopefully you don't need that. So double sharp would be, instead of going up by a half step, you'd be going up by a whole step, or two sharps, or two half steps, I mean. Same thing with flat. Flat is going down one half step. Double flat would be going down two half steps or a whole step. So if I was starting on this note here, sorry, I erased my key names, this would be E. If I wanted to put a double flat on it, I would go down to E flat and then down again to E double flat. Same thing for sharps. If I start here on C, I go up to C sharp, then I go up again to C double sharp. Finally, the last new one is a natural. If I have a key signature with a flat or a sharp in it, or I've got a note with that in it, a flat or a sharp or double flat, whatever, the natural basically takes it away. So if it should be F sharp, now it's back to F. Cool.